responsibility. The reason they can get away with this, the reason that it goes on practically unhindered, is because people in general want to run away as fast as possible from the responsibility of solving their own problems in an equitable and peaceful way. The end. That's it, folks. And you know what? At the risk of even insulting my small listening audience, most people who even listen to this show probably don't want to accept that. We don't want to accept that this is what our species has become. And again, I talked about the word becoming and how it is an occult concept in and of itself, the concept of becoming. Because an occultist knows that there is very little human nature. Just as Erica Goldson said, she is shaped. She was shaped by her experiences and her peers. We learn in a shared fashion by what we are exposed to. But you know what? People have exposed the truth about what is going on in the world through books, through podcasts, through videos, through lectures, through conferences, on and on and on ad infinitum. There's so much information about what's really going on in the world. There's no excuse for not understanding this. There's no excuse for continuing to go along with an immoral system that is based upon violence. There's no excuse. Anybody still doing that, anybody still in that state of consciousness, is a willfully ignorant dupe. So there I said it. Equally, in deep ego, are people that don't even want to admit that is the case. They want to make excuses for the human population. They want to say, oh no, they're ready to accept responsibility. They really want to know what's real. They want to know the difference between truth and fantasy. They want to learn natural law. They really don't, folks. People largely want to remain ignorant, and they want to continue to shirk personal responsibility. And that's why the way that they're going to be forced to learn by nature itself is by fire. By fire, they're going to be forced to learn. Don't say, I didn't warn you, and don't say, I didn't try to tell you so. Anybody who's listening or who could propagate this information to anybody else, this is the hour that we are at. And that time is coming upon the human species. Because, once again, instead of accepting responsibility, instead of looking at truth openly, without fear, realizing where we have come, realizing where the refusal to understand the self, the corner that it has backed us, that this refusal has backed us into, we are going to send ourselves down a path that none of us are going to like. One bit. And you know what? It will have been richly deserved because the laws of nature are never failing. They work 100% of the time, unceasingly and flawlessly. It is we who refuse to accept this. And to that end, to the understanding of that, I want to read a couple more quotes which take us down a little bit more of a deep and occult understanding of this, which has traditionally been hidden from us until modern times and this vast information explosion and the advent of many enlightened people who are walking the earth right now, desperately trying for the betterment of humanity to try to get this information to be more readily accepted by the individuals who the dark occultists of this world refer to as the dead. This is a quote by R. Buckminster Fuller. I would highly suggest people look at this man's work. R. Buckminster Fuller. F-U-L-L-E-R. Fuller said, "The Dark Ages still reign over all humanity, and the depth and persistence of this domination are only now becoming clear. This dark age prison has no steel bars, chains, or locks. Instead, it is locked by misorientation and built on misinformation, caught up in a plethora of conditioned reflexes and driven by the human ego. Both warden and prisoner attempt meagerly to compete with God. All are intractably skeptical of what they do not understand. We are powerfully imprisoned in these dark ages simply by the terms in which we have been conditioned to think." And I would say we have been conditioned to not think. I would also say his use of the word God, where he says we are caught up in a plethora of conditioned reflexes and driven by the human ego, both warden and prisoner attempt to meagerly compete with God. I would say that his use of the word God in his explanation is totally interchangeable with natural law principles. It's one and the same. They're the same thing, folks. People ask me sometimes, what is enlightenment? And I say enlightenment is the full and complete understanding of every being's sovereignty and the total willingness to accept the responsibility to honor that complete sovereignty in all others. That's enlightenment. That is what enlightenment is. And there are so tragically few individuals alive on this planet that are at that level of consciousness that it's pitiful. It is pitifully sad. I'm not saying this to in any way discourage people. I'm trying to lay out the road we need to go down to get to the light. This isn't my road. This isn't my way. This isn't my ideology. This isn't my beliefs. This is actual point of fact reality about how natural law works. It can be known. It's a law of nature. It can be discovered and it can be lived according to. It can be lived by. And if we don't do that soon, the universe is going to wipe this slate clean, folks. It's not, you think nature's going to allow this, what we're creating here, to continue forever, unchecked, unabated, and we're going to get out of this situation unscathed? Good luck with that attitude if that's what you think. Enjoy what's coming if that's how you think. Because in her destroyer quality, the goddess is going to arrive here in full sway. And the lesson's going to be learned then, folks. It's going to be learned then. And it's going to be learned in the most uncomfortable way that we can possibly imagine. When, in fact, we had the opportunity to learn it in a way that could have benefited and served that which we are and furthered our evolutionary progress in consciousness.